Of course, I screw something up right off the bat. What's up, everybody? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle, the wrestling video podcast I run here on youtube.com/UC Campbell. Like I said, of course, I screwed up something because I forgot to turn up the microphone before going in the air. Oopsies. Going live with a lot of stuff, you're going to see things like that. So, this episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle is going to focus around WWE Smackdown on September 26, 2017. And, well, we'll leave it at this one for you. I feel like this is going to be a bit of a different one because I ended up going to this one. So at the beginning of this one, before we go into what happened on the show, I'll just go through everything. This one, because I was at both Raw and SmackDown for the July 3rd and July 4th out in Phoenix, Arizona. So this is just a couple months ago. This time around in Glendale, Arizona, this was done at the Phoenix Coyotes Stadium, or the Gila River Casino Stadium. Yeah, pretty much all of our, no, well, not stadium, arena. All of our arenas now basically have casino names behind them, because the one that we were at used to be the US Airways arena. It is now known as Talking Stick Resort Arena. So that's a hotel and casino name, and now Gila River is also a hotel and casino, so they have their name plastered all over that as well. So a little bit different in that sense. Yeah, overall I did still find the event fun. It was a little bit more tarped off than it was for the July 3rd and July 4th one, where on July 3rd and 4th, maybe only certain sections in the upper bowl were tarped off. This time around, about 3 or 4 sections where there would typically be fans in the lower sections on the hard camera side were tarped off this time around. That kind of is what it, I guess it kind of is what it is at that point. So it's just like a couple months ago, we were kind of seeing pretty full arenas, even just for Raw and SmackDown. Now we're seeing them not so much at that point in time. But I guess it is what it is at that sector in time and everything to go along with it. Like I said, I still found the event fun to go to. I stayed through 205 Live and the dark match main event to go along with it. I did enjoy 205 Live. I said that a little bit during the Raw review. Everything in that sense to go along with it. Like I said, being there live is still a lot of fun, even with the smaller crowd. I do think it kind of, having the smaller crowd there does kind of hamper the crowd noise. I really do. I do feel that. I do feel that way a little bit. So, going on to what happened on SmackDown Live, and how did I feel about certain things that happened on SmackDown Live to go along with it. They started off the show with Kevin Owens coming out, basically cutting a promo on Shane McMahon, asking him where he was, why was he not there at this point in time. He kind of go off and say that. They do explain this a little bit later in the show to go along with it. He goes about saying how much he respects Vince McMahon. It's like, what do you think I'm going to do to a guy I don't respect after what I did to a guy I do respect? Everything in that sense. This does bring out Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn basically starts talking, basically like tries to bring Kevin Owens back, or he's trying to bring him back, but like Kevin Owens like, no, I completely know what I'm doing. I haven't snapped in any way, shape, or form. And he basically runs down Sami Zayn, how he's outshined him in every way since he had shown up. And he had been in the WWE for 2.5 years before he even signed with the company in any way, shape, or form. This does eventually bring out Daniel Bryan, setting up a match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And yeah, instantaneously, like, even though they do this match a lot, I don't really get sick and tired of it. I really don't. They can't put on a bad match. So they make that for the main event of the night. Overall, I actually did like this segment. The whole bits with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and how they interact between each other and talk about their history with each other have always been it's just been very good to go along with everything, and then setting them up as the main event. You kind of had a figuring where they were going with this, especially with the segment where you have Sami Zayn with talking with Daniel Bryan a little bit later on in the show, saying that, you know, he had just gotten off the phone with Shane McMahon, was going to, and he was on his way to the arena, and, you know, Sami was trying to convince Daniel Bryan to not have Shane get involved in any way. He wanted Kevin Owens for that night. So he does kind of he agrees with that and everything in that sense. That segment as well was kind of it kind of showed what Sami wanted to do. He wanted to try and be you know, get back at Kevin Owens for everything in that sense. As they kind of always have shown that this rivalry will pretty much never end. Even though it technically does kind of end, but it never does. It's always off and on with Daniel Bryan, or not Daniel Bryan, but Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I also like the aspect of that segment of you know, Sami being like, yeah, I wish I could have. It's like they're trying to play it off as like, I wish I'd been better since I've been here, but it's like he's agreeing with everything. Is like, but now it's his opportunity to try to fix that in some way, shape, or form. You get that throughout the, you kind of get that throughout the entire night. Some decent stuff. I liked what they were doing here. This brings up Ty Dillinger going up against Baron Corbin. You had AJ Styles on commentary for this one. This was a decent enough match. I did like the work between Baron Corbin and Ty Dillinger. It was definitely, they definitely worked a decent back and forth. This does eventually lead to Baron Corbin going outside the ring, confronting AJ Styles, knocks a drink into him, and then he knocks Ty Dillinger into AJ Styles and sending him over the announcer's table, and Baron Corbin actually gets the count-out victory. So, not a very definitive victory in this sense. He does get on the mic afterwards and says that he is going to challenge AJ Styles at Hell in a Cell for the United States title. And it's a little bit weird off of a non-definitive victory in that way for him to just announce that he's going after it. They do announce later that he is, but I feel like they're going to be adding Ty Dillinger into this match in some way, shape, or form. Unless of next week they have Baron Corbin go over Ty Dillinger in a more definitive victory or something in that sense. You feel like a triple threat is still coming, but they have decided to, at least at this point in time, announce a one-on-one match with Baron Corbin and AJ Styles. Decent enough stuff. I thought this was decent enough. I'm not, but we'll see where they go with everything on this one, and we'll see how everything goes off. You know, like I said, it comes off a little weird. It's like, oh, they announced a one-on-one match with AJ Styles and Baron Corbin after Corbin only got a count-out victory. A little bit weird. A little bit weird on that one, at least to me. So after this brings up Jinder Mahal. They come back from commercial break, and Jinder Mahal's in the ring. No entrance this week. Just in the ring with the Singh brothers. And it looked like we were about to get the same. And this is where basically the title of this thing finally, or this particular GodSaw's episode, kind of comes forth and everything in that sense. So they start doing the exact same stuff again, eventually leading to Jinder Mahal saying, and this is one of his other faces and facial expressions, and then it eventually leads to the big screen, where it's like Nakamura standing in a pose for a little bit, and then he starts moving around. I actually like this. I actually like this one. It's like they played it off, and even though this was like a week too late in that sense, and you know, I'll even say this about the another thing that happened later on in the show as well, is a week too late, but it was pretty decent. Shinsuke basically starts moving around after, you know, being done with his pose, and says, I'm here and I'm coming for you. Comes out and basically lays waste to the Singh brothers and Jinder Mahal, eventually gaining the full upper hand and hitting the Kinshasa on Jinder Mahal. Yeah, this is that was a pretty decent segment. It was a week too late. I'm not gonna lie on that one. It was a week too late, but I liked how they went about this, and I thought it went a lot better this time around. So up next were the Hype Bros going up against the Usos. This was a rather quick match. You had New Day in the crowd, everything in that sense, and you know what? We'll basically go through this one because the match itself is a rather quick one. The Usos going over, and they continue on with this whole thing of Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder kind of starting to argue around. Mojo tags himself in as they argue. This causes the distraction for Mojo to get knocked into Zack Ryder, knocking him off, and then getting pinned by a big splash by one of the Usos. After the match, you had the New Day the Usos cutting a promo on the New Day, and eventually Big E pulls the microphone out of a big bag or his big bucket of popcorn or something in that sense, and they start talking. And they start talking about how they want to defend their tag team titles inside Hell in a Cell instead of just having a normal match. So we're going to finally get a Hell in a Cell match. And I was kind of like in my head, because we were there, and I feel like the crowd missed out on an opportunity to just start a big yes chant, though we have one a little bit later on with everything. They could have started a huge yes chant with this, because that, with the aspect of the New Day and the Usos, they've been working really good tag matches as of late. Inside Hell in the Cell should be a very, very good match. And we missed out on a big opportunity to kind of put that match over even more by doing a big yes chant. So in the terms of the crowd, we messed up on that one. I'll admit that. We messed up big time on that side of everything. So up next was the Pride of Bulgaria celebration with Rusev. This is good. I'm not gonna lie here. This was fun. This was just plain out fun. I don't know, because I haven't done full-on research of whether or not they got all this stuff right and everything. Where they brought in a guy to be the mayor of his hometown and everything in that sense in Bulgaria, and they had Rusev, or they had Aiden English singing what would be the national anthem for Bulgaria. I don't know if that's the actual national anthem. I haven't done the research on that one, but Aiden English is great, just in every sense of the word in terms of his singing and what he was doing in the terms of, because he sang a song later about Rusev during everything. I like the segment. You have Rusev on this big podium getting handed the key of the city, cutting a promo on Randy Orton as Aiden English is singing the song with singing another song about Rusev. Randy Orton comes in, just dashes in, hits an RKO on Aiden English, and eventually hits an RKO on Rusev as well. I like this. It was a fun segment. I won't lie on this one. I like this segment. I don't care if other people end up not really liking it. I just enjoyed this one. I thought it was pretty good in that side of everything. Up next, because I already talked about... actually, oh yeah, there was one more thing that happened backstage. They announced that, or they have Randy Orton challenge Rusev through Renee Young. And he ends it with like, oh yeah, happy Rusev Day. And because they announced it's like Rusev Day and everything, he goes like, oh yeah, happy Rusev Day. And Renee Young gives that weird look or something in that sense as he walks away. So they have kind of announced, I don't know if they fully announced, but they have the challenge of Randy Orton versus Rusev at Hell in a Cell. I really wish they would come up with better pay-per-view names. I really do. I really wish they would. So, up next was why did I say Rick? Charlotte Flair. We have Charlotte going up against Carmella. This match was alright. this was not all that good. It felt a little bit sloppy, and like just being in the arena, this one came off a little bit sloppy, but wasn't too bad. The stuff that they have with Carmella having James Ellsworth on this short leash and everything, and attaching him to the ring post so he doesn't get involved in anything, was pretty decent. The match itself was fine. Eventually with Charlotte going over with a with the big boot and getting pinfall victory over Carmella. Natalya comes out afterwards and basically cuts a promo saying how happy she was that Ric Flair was okay, because he can see Natalya, or see her beat Charlotte at Hell in a Cell. That was okay. That was okay stuff. It just, like I said, the match itself just didn't come off all that good. At least to me, it didn't. One of the few times that you'll ever see me really say that about Charlotte, because most of her matches are pretty good. This one, not so much. It didn't really come off all that great. So, again, the reason why I kind of started saying about why I titled this GodSaw's Turnbuckle About Time. You have Dolph Ziggler doing his obligatory entrance of the week. This time, he chose a good entrance. He chose an entrance that he really couldn't screw up. We'll leave it at that one. And it was The Undertaker's entrance. So, he comes out dressed up, full garb. Fans kind of recognizing, they pop initially, but kind of recognize that, that it's pretty much just Dolph coming out to that. He basically runs down everything and gets immediately interrupted by Glorious. Bobby Roode finally shows up. Took it long enough again. Again, a week too late. A week too late on this one. In that sense of everything. Roode basically comes out, cuts a promo on Dolph Ziggler, calling him a hypocrite because he says he doesn't care what people think, but yet he comes out there and tries to garner attention to himself on a weekly basis. In that sense, Dolph and then ends out challenging him to a match at Hell in a Cell, which Ziggler is like, yeah, I'll accept that one. He goes and he runs through like everything he doesn't like. It's like flashy robe, check. Big ego, check. Elaborate entrance with crowd participation, check. And then accepts the match, and that was pretty much all that was. So, like I said, it was a week too late. Again, I liked what they did. They should have done this in Undertaker thing last week, and then have Bobby Roode come out, because I liked how they pulled that one off, because they did kind of get the crowd a little bit with it initially, and then, of course, massive heat behind Ziggler as well for doing the Undertaker entrance and just being basically the Undertaker. I do like how he says, like, what, you thought you'd see the Undertaker twice in 1 year? No, you don't see that. So, this brings us to the main event, which was Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Again, good match. These two cannot put on a bad match. In any way, shape, or form. In any way, shape, or form, these guys cannot put on a bad match. I did enjoy this one. Like I said, I did enjoy this match in general. Again, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn always do a really good job. This one, good back and forth between the both of them. They get to that punch spot really quickly at the beginning. And then eventually, it does lead to the outside where Kevin Owens counters the big springboard, or the leaping DDT through the ropes with a super kick, and then power bombs him on the ring apron to finish the match. The referee basically, as I have to remove something here. Okay. As the referee stops the match because of what they do, or because of that, so referee stoppage to end it. Kevin Owens going over. It looked like basically they were helping Sami Zayn to the back, and Kevin Owens like, nope, had enough of this. We're basically going away, and or we're going to continue the beatdown. Looked like he was going to take Sami Zayn and ram his head into the ring post with the chair. That causes Shane McMahon to come out, and Shane McMahon basically chases off Kevin Owens. Not bad. Decent enough. It did what it needed to do. And that was pretty much everything on SmackDown this week. You do have a stare down with Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon as Kevin Owens retreats through the crowd. And yeah, that was pretty much how they ended the show. Overall, not a bad show. I thought it was a decent enough show. I found it rather enjoyable in certain spots. I thought a few other things were pretty ho-hum going in there. Like I said, a week too late on the Jinder Mahal stuff, and a week too late on the Dolph Ziggler stuff and everything. I think these things would have been a little bit better if they had done them a week sooner, in that sense of everything. But I did actually like, the bit with Shinsuke Nakamura posing for one of the pictures and then start moving around. I did like that. I did like that in that sense of everything. So yeah, that's pretty much everything for this week's episode of SmackDown, and for this episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle. So with that being said, everyone, I thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace out. Have a good one.